What's up, everyone? This is King Crypto. Today we're going to be talking about the top 5 hacks that has ever happened in crypto. I made a cute little PowerPoint. I think it's going to be really cool. So let's see. Indicators can be really hard to read when you're new like I am, but your vids make it so much easier than a lot of other people. And points that we know will change daily, if not by the hour. Alright, thank you. I appreciate it, sir. There's your Litecoin. And let's get started. 12.5. There we go. Alright, cool. Let's do it. Alright, guys, let's get started. The top 5 worst crypto hacks of all time. We're going to be talking about a lot of interesting cases here. And I'm sure these are subject to change, so if you're watching from the future, I'm sure your hackers of that generation will have us beat by a mile. But anyway, let's get started. So number 5 was Tether, and $30.9 million was stolen on November 19th of last year. Now, the terminology you should know: a black hat is a hacker that has bad intentions, unethical and immoral intentions, like stealing money or blackmailing people with information. And a white hat is a hacker that is paid by companies like Facebook or YouTube to hack their systems to find vulnerabilities in it. So they're actually helping websites from the black hats. So in this case, obviously, a bad hacker was able to breach Tether's treasury wallet, and that is the wallet where they store most of their funds to give out to people and to give out to the exchanges. So in this case, it looks like there was a vulnerability within the wallet, and a hacker was able to do it. He converted his Tether to Bitcoin, and he was able to send it, and the theft was basically irreversible after that. So after that, it caused Bitcoin's price to dive. Also caused more mistrust with Tether that we've been seeing boiling in the last few weeks with the whole Bitfinex thing. There was already talk of, the fact that, that Tether was kind of working with Bitfinex in certain ways, and there's some serious allegations that Bitfinex used Tether's assets to commit fraud. And I mean, you can research all that for yourself. It is fishy that a lot of the Tether is on Bitfinex or something like that. So as a measure, Tether decided to put a pretty tough order in place, and it made it impossible for the hacker to turn his Tethers into fiat or Bitcoin. So he just has $30 million in his wallet, and he can't do anything with it. I would like a follow-up with this story, like what's going to happen. But as we know with these wallets, I mean, it's practically impossible to get into the hacker's wallet. This is decentralized. The one good thing about centralized systems is that if this were to happen and you stole $30 million, you would not, if you put it in a bank, it would be taken from you in a second, But only in this world does crap like this happen. So let's move on. Ethereum was hacked for $31 million in July 20th. So, well, more specifically, 3 big companies were hacked, and including a lot of other people could have been hacked. So at noon, a hacker stole, well, noon depending on where you live, hacker stole $31 million from Swarm City, Edgeless Casino, and A Eternity. That spelling of A Eternity is a little weird in the actual correct spelling, but we'll just leave it. And they were able to do this by exploiting a vulnerability in multi-signatures, or multi-sig. And you'll see that in the next slide, how they were able to essentially steal and pretend ownership was theirs. So they were able to take it for real. And let me think. Yeah, you can look at the wallet that stole the funds. I already said that. The white hats now came in because people were pretty worried about this, that could have been liable to be had all their money taken. So they got the white hats in, and they were able to save 950 people $170 million, because this $170 million was in separate wallets that all had this vulnerability with multi-signatures, and all they had to do was pretty much lie or somehow decode it so that it looked like it was their signature, and then they would have got it. So based on that, the White Hats used the same method, and this is pretty interesting because they actually they stole, well, they didn't steal, but they took the money from the multi-sig accounts like the Black Hats did, but they were able to hold it, and then they were going to give it out later. But you see what I'm saying? The Black Hats couldn't steal it because it was already stolen from the White Hats, and they put it in a more secure wallet with where that vulnerability didn't exist. So that's pretty interesting stuff. But 31 million was still hacked, and you could see it. This is another very interesting thing about decentralization. You can literally look at stolen money. Like I don't know, man. It's kind of funny if you ask me. Like, we're just looking at how much money was stolen and nothing can be done about it. And no one knows who hacked either. That's a pretty common theme you'll see. But so we see that 83,000 was stolen. At the time it was 31 million, but now the hack is worth 71 million. So that should probably be updated, but whatever. That's how much it was at the time. We can see these were all the transactions. There was different wallets, and 10,000 Ether was stolen from all of them. Absolutely nuts, man. Absolutely. That would break my heart, man, to have that kind of Ether stolen from me. Alright, so, interesting. Then we got the NEM hack. NEM hack for $500 million. Going once, going twice. Happened a few weeks ago. Yeah, a few weeks ago. Hackers broke into an exchange. It's from, I think it's in Tokyo, called CoinCheck Incorporated. Now, the company said the reason they think it happened was because that they have their wallets connected to actual external networks of theirs. That's also known as a hot wallet. And the terminology for a cold wallet is pretty much the opposite. It's not connected to the internet. You also, if you're in crypto, you'll hear the term cold storage a lot, which is like you have like a USB kind of drive, but it has your crypto information, and it's not connected to the internet. So same idea. So their wallets are connected like that, and as a result, oh yeah, and they also lack the multiple signature security, so they didn't even have it. So it just shows you how easy it is, man. Like for especially hackers, when they see things like this, you might as well just say it's game over. So we saw it happen with NEM. Now, like the last time, we saw our wallets are identified, but no one knows who stole it. And now NEM was thinking of starting a fork to stop it from being sold, but the hackers could go to shapeshift.io, and they can use the NEM that they've stolen, convert it to Monero, and as we know, Monero is a privacy currency, so it'll be untraceable at that point, and somebody or some people will have $500 million stolen. It's crazy stuff, man. Honestly, it's kind of amazing in a way that you can steal that much money, and without any consequences. So we see Bitfinex was number 2 on my list because about $1 billion was stolen in total when you consider Bitcoin's price now. So, alright, hackers were able to steal this amount from many customer accounts. Bitfinex actually had some pretty good precautions and security measures, two-factor authentication, and they also used the multiple signature procedure. Here's the way things were set up. Let me read it to you. Bitfinex would hold 2 keys, and while another blockchain company, BitGo, would hold a 3rd key. Together, these keys would enable Bitcoin and/or other digital money to transfer it. At the time, speculations were rife that the attackers might have controlled BitGo's API code and used it to sign off on the transactions. However, BitGo announced on social media that the breach did not occur on any of their servers. So, as an aftermath, the Bitfinex paid their customers back with some of their assets. Not all of it. They didn't have that much money. That's a lot of money to steal. So they funded an ICO, and they used that money to give the people their money back. And to this day, no one knows who the hackers are. Yet again, that's a common theme you're going to see a lot of times. It's actually very shocking just how easy it is to be a hacker in crypto. Alright, and Mt. Gox is number one for very good reasons. You know, the Mt. Gox story is like kind of a disturbing story when I think about just how much money was lost and just how irresponsible the company was too. Owning over 70% of the Bitcoin trading. I mean, they screwed. I don't know, man. That's a pretty big failure. But if you don't know about Mt. Gox, you should definitely search it up. It's a very interesting story because it actually caused a Bitcoin collapse for a few years, or just, you know, dormancy, I'd say. So yeah, largest loss of Bitcoin in history. Hacking was easier during those times. Crypto didn't even have, I think during that time, it didn't have a password for your private key. Like, you know, Exodus Eden, how you have a password to get into your wallet. I don't even think that existed yet. So hacking was like I don't know. Hacking was just what it was. It just happened all the time. And we saw this with Mt. Gox for years. Hackers were able to, you know, take a few Bitcoin here and there, and they did this for years until it got up to 630,000 Bitcoin that were gone by this method. A really popular hack was in June 2011, where they were able to create the code of Bitcoin to a nominal value of 1 cent. Then they bought like 2,000, and then they stole 2,000 of it. And people were buying it, like 650 Bitcoin, and it was fake, you know. So I don't know what happened with that, unless they must. I'm assuming they got 650 Bitcoin, and that was that. But I don't know if they owed something. So it was all screwed up. But I love this fact right here. In 2012 and 13, hackers were able to empty wallets with Mt. Gox's private key. The CEO had to run by everything in order for things to continue, by the way. So obviously there was some incompetency there. I don't know how they didn't see this, but they must have seen it for it to crash. Anyway, Mt. Gox interpreted the stolen Bitcoin as deposits and would credit some users with up to 40,000 Bitcoin. Now, I don't know about you guys, but that would make me fucking cry right now. Dude, that is amazing. Could you imagine getting 40,000 Bitcoin right now? I can't, but I would love to. I would love to imagine that right now. Yeah, just 40,000. It really is too bad, though. Mt. Gox, with Mt. Gox's collapse in 2014, those users probably lost it anyway. But regardless, that's a pretty cool stat. So here's some hack stats. Oh, and by the way, Mt. Gox, seriously look it up, because it is a wild story. Alright, some hacking stats. Research estimates 14% of Bitcoin and Ethereum have been stolen altogether. So that's a pretty big chunk when you look at the overall markets. That's definitely like, I can't do it on the top of my head, but it's probably 20 billion. 20 to, I'm not going to do it. But, I mean, you get the idea. Just do 14% of 160 billion, which Bitcoin is at right now. And you'll see that's what it is. So, exchanges are the most vulnerable. I think everyone tells you that on YouTube. If you search crypto videos, they are the most vulnerable, so you got to be careful. And you got to really keep it off of the exchange. But I'll get to that. And virtually all the hackers have not been discovered. Now, this one blows my mind, because you got to think, like, these hackers, it's a whole new way of theft. And it's a kind of theft that is without consequence. And that's very disturbing to me. That all these people got away with it. Now, there is some conspiracy theories, and if you believe in Jordan Belfort. He thinks that some of the exchanges might have done it to themselves and they made it up like a cover story, market manipulation, whatnot. And you know, I actually kind of believe him. I think in some cases that might have happened. I don't think about all the time, but I bet there has been a 1 or 2 times where an exchange has stolen money. Well, they acted like a hacker did it, but they really stole the money. Because, I mean, it's their exchange. Everything's anonymous. You get away with anything with crypto. Well, almost everything if you're smart. So I wouldn't be surprised if that was happening. Which is even a better reason to keep your money off of an exchange. So, Alright, how to protect your crypto assets the right way. So you want to write down your private key first of all. They give you the option of that. Your paper key, and they want you to write it down. Don't put it on the internet. Don't put it in your Word documents, because if a hacker hacks, they can also get it right on the internet. So, and it's a secret code that allows your Bitcoin to be spent. What you can see right here, this is a good diagram of what happens, or what a public and a private key is. And also for cold storage, which I was talking about earlier, you want to get a hardware wallet like Trezor or Ledger Nano S. Think of it like a digital safe, and Trezor looks pretty sick. Look at that. Ooh, yeah. And here's the Nano. Nano has a lot of options of what you can have. Trezor is pretty cool. I personally, I have the Nano, but I don't know what the Trezor is all about. It looks cool though. So I was, you know, pick your poison. They're both going to be way more safe than keeping it on exchange. And think of it like this too. If you have it on your key, or you have it in cold storage, it'll make you think twice before selling all your Bitcoin, your valuable Bitcoin. You know, think about it like that, because sometimes when it's right on the exchange, it's so easy to sell, and when you have it in your hand, right, and you got to go through the process of plugging it in, it might make you think twice before selling something that might be worth a lot more in the future. So it's a good tip. Anyway, that's that, guys. Thanks for watching. Be sure to subscribe, comment below if you want to win some Litecoin, and I will see you guys on Wednesday.